Hey, welcome to the Philosophy Podcast. I am your host, Controversy, and to my right, ladies and gentlemen, my co-host, none other than Mr.
Darren Love!
And together, we are the Philosophy Podcast. Welcome back to another episode. Well, thank you for tuning in once again this week, guys, to a brand new show. And as we always say, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if there's anything you want to, anything you want to talk to us about, or any feedback you guys want to give us, or anything you want to mention in regards to the podcast, or regards to the topics that we talk about, or anything like that, please do leave a comment down below, because we do reply and we will be checking the comments as time goes on in the future. So yeah, without further ado, what is on the agenda, mate, for this week's episode, mate? What is today's hot topic?
I thought we'd talk about time and history today.
So today we're talking about
Time and history.
time and
I
history.
just thought it was so interesting.
Two very interesting topics, of course, and important topics, because it's relevant to us and our lives and everything else. They're two, So yeah, what are your thoughts on time and history then, mate? Well, let's start with time. Let's break it down into two sections. What are your thoughts on and opinions on the construct of time and
Well, I think like
the man-made construct of time?
time only starts existing, doesn't it, when you're born?
That's true.
And
it kind of cease to exist
You
when you go.
well, you don't see clocks, do you? I
Mm.
don't think, once you're dead, do you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just think like, well, clocks were invented.
Well, once you're gone, your time is up.
That's it. That's
Pun
it.
intended. Yeah.
That's it. Very funny.
Talking about time,
Funny.
your time is up. Literally. But yeah.
Yeah, but like time only exists whilst you're alive. I think
Mm.
put it that way, basically.
Yeah.
And like clocks, I think they were invented, weren't they? I think
Yeah.
probably in the 15th century. I'm not sure, something like that. When
I'm not sure exactly.
when they
but-
started playing about mechanics and things, and clocks,
Yeah. Yeah.
and all that, And then once they discovered the clock, it went everywhere.
Yeah.
24 hours.
Mm.
It could have been different.
Mm.
It could have been 4 hours, or they could have did it differently.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Yeah.
It's all like all made up, all of it. 7 days a week. It kind of fits in though. They obviously studied, like they realised that you got the winter, and you got and they realised it had a pattern, didn't they? Do you know what I
Of
mean?
course. Yeah.
You do realise after living.
Whereas observation in it's living and literally observing your surroundings and your environment, isn't it?
Yeah.
And getting a greater understanding of that over time, over years of observing, where you're living in, the environment, like you said, the winter, the 4 seasons. If you're in a place that's lucky enough to have 4 seasons, let's say, then it's you can
I
experience.
don't think you really realise when you're a young child, let's put it that way, about winter.
No.
Too much. Do you know what I mean? Or
No.
I don't think it bothers a child too much because
No.
they got so much energy in them. They keep warm.
Well, they're just thinking about children aren't really. It matters to them, of course, because they might feel a little bit colder. You might have to wrap them up a bit more and put a bigger jacket on them during the winter to keep them nice and warm and snug and stop them from getting sick because it's that cold or whatever.
Yeah.
But aside from
Well,
that,
maybe
they're not thinking about it. As long as they're wrapped up, they're happy to go. They're thinking about enjoying life, if you see what I mean. The next kind of experience, aren't they? So.
And they're always playing about and keeping warm. They even sort of play in the snow, don't they? Do you know what I mean? And go out when it's snowing. They can't wait, can they, children?
Mm.
I mean, I can remember actually sort of playing in the snow when I was a child. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And coming home with red hands, red face, all freezing.
We've been so cold in the
But I was because a child's running around a lot, they kind of keep themselves warm, don't they? Do you know what I mean? But as you get older, you start dreading the winters.
Yeah, true.
Like I'm 57 now, or soon, next month, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of thinking, you know, this winter, you know, especially because the electric's gone up and things, you know, the fuel, it's going to cost a lot more in a kind of way to keep warm this year. But it's more of a worry, I think, as you get older, you know, and a lot of people actually die, don't they? You know,
Yeah.
Old people, that is.
Yeah, especially the older people. It does tend to affect the older people.
Like I say,
you know.
as you get older, you've got a job to keep warm. Your body has, anyway.
Yeah, it's almost like your body, your
your body
thermostat. Yeah, literally kind of breaks down, or it doesn't work as good as it used to. Because it does happen. Because honestly, where I've worked in the healthcare industry for a very long time, just talking about what you were talking, you know, just touching on what you were just saying. I know a lot of the older people, even during the summer, where it might be like 25 degrees, because obviously they all have like thermometers in their rooms, so people can check to make sure they're not cold or it's not too hot or whatever. You know, obviously for their well-being, of course, for the individual's well-being. But sometimes when it's like, sometimes you go in their room and it's like 25 degrees, and they might say, "Oh, I'm cold. You know, I'm cold. You know, can you pass me that blanket, or can you know pass me a cardigan, you know, or a little coat or something, because I'm a bit chilly." And it's like it's 25 degrees, like it's not cold, like, you know. But like you said, like, you know, it's almost like your body thermostat starts to shut down.
I used to do removals, in whatever, you know, and I used to go to all sorts of places.
Yeah.
And sometimes I went to retirement homes and all this, you know, do you know what I mean? And I, you know, even on a summer's day, they'd put the heating on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And you'd be cooking.
You know, in the winter it's really warm.
And it's really yeah.
They keep the heating on all the time in these places.
Yeah, it's true. Sometimes that is the case, you know. Yeah. I must say, I'm lucky where I work. That you know, the environment that I work in, it's not like it's, you know, it's quite flexible. If you see what I mean, like, you know, if the majority of the people say it's too hot, then, you know, they'll turn the heaters off, kind of thing. If you see what I mean, you know. And I'm lucky too, because where I work, a lot of the older people, they don't like it too hot either. I must say, the people that are there.
Well, we're all different, aren't we? But I know that as you get older, you realise the long winters, really, they become long in a funny way, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you're a child, time really flies, doesn't it? Like summer holidays.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it went so quick.
Yeah, it does. It does.
You know, but it's because the child, they're always sort of having fun, and enjoying themselves. Well, most of them are.
Most of the time.
That way, you know.
Yeah.
Depends. Again, it depends what parents you got. I think, you know, whether your child's having fun or not.
Yeah.
You know. But I mean, like when a child's born, practically when you're born, you've got no understanding of history at all, have you? Or no understanding. You haven't got a future yet, have you? Really? I mean, you have got a future when you're on paper. Of course you have.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you don't know what it's going to be, do you? You know what I mean? You don't know who you're going to meet in life, or where you're going to. Do you know what I mean? Or you get married.
But it's not even to a certain age that it's not even till you become of a certain age that you start to even like be able to understand your environment and your circumstances and what's going on around you. Like,
it takes time, doesn't it?
It's like when you get to a certain age, you say, okay, well, I live in this country. You know, this is the town that I live in, or I was born in. And you get to understand you start to slowly understand who you are as a human being, if you see what I mean, and start to develop your own thoughts and ideas. But that takes a few years. It's not until you're like, you know, maybe 5, 6 years old, you really start to become, you know, like really aware. Like you know, don't get me wrong. Before that as well, because like even with my daughter, she's just coming up to 4 now, but she's super aware, mate. She's like she strings most of our sentences together correctly. She's almost like, you know, she's kind of ahead of her time kind of thing for her kind of age, you know. But I think it's really from about probably from like, you know, 5 years old onwards, you really are a lot fully aware of what's going on and where you are and all your family and your loved ones and the country you live in and the town and your school that you go to and etc.
What age did you say? 5?
About 5. I think roughly about 5 years old, you're really starting to become.
Well, I'd say a little bit later than that. You know what I mean? But
no, but I mean that general understanding.
I'd say 7 or 8, really.
Yeah, probably. You might be right.
I think 5. You know, you just. I think at that age, I was really sort of just exploring all the time. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I wanted to learn about the world around me.
Yeah. But kids today, but the world today is different too in that aspect too, though, because you've got a lot of kids today who aren't going outside and exploring and shit, mate. They're inside online.
I know.
If you see what I mean, they're inside online on the video games, online. Well, doing the video, even the video games go online today, where they play with their friends. You know, they can talk to each other online with their headsets and play games, and it's
I know.
So,
Children do.
I think children today are a little bit more advanced than
No, I don't know about that.
In a sense.
I don't.
Not in the sense of maybe like the outdoorsy kind of skills and going outside and playing and using your imagination and coming up with games and etc. Being silly and having fun.
I don't think by playing games, say 5 hours a day, you're just not learning anything.
No.
You might be enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
But you're not learning anything.
No.
And that's that.
Yeah.
It's like when you're watching football, 8 hours a day. So you watch like 3, 4, 5 matches a day, right? Because you're obsessed by it. You're not really learning anything, are you?
No, it's the same.
By watching football, you don't learn anything. Well, you might learn people's names.
Yeah.
But what use is that? At the end of the day, it's absolutely useless.
It's kind of useless. In the grand scheme of everything, it is useless information.
Very.
Isn't it? So that is the reality. But yeah.
Every sport you watch is,
Yeah.
Again, it's about time. What
you choose to direct your time towards. Yeah.
Is it a waste of time watching 8 football matches in a row,
Some people, you might think so, but then there might, I might agree with you, but there'd be probably someone else out there that disagrees. If you see.
There is a quote saying nothing's a waste of time as long as you enjoy doing it.
That's it. I think that's it. As long as you're enjoying your time, that's it. That's the fundamental thing, mate. That's the most important thing. The most fundamental thing is enjoying the time. Doing what, just trying to enjoy your time as much as possible. We've all got obligations, we all got to work, and we all got to do shit sometimes that we don't always particularly want to do or absolutely love to do, but you still got to make the most of it. You're still alive, you still got to, you've got to handle your shit, take care of your responsibilities and you handle your shit, but, you still got to, just, try to enjoy every day, every minute of every day, and be grateful and thankful that, you're alive and you're blessed, and make the most of your time as well. It's okay to have downtime and relax your mind sometimes, to play a game for an hour or two, or watch a film or something. If you're just using it as like a stress reliever or something to give you a break from the world because you've been so busy all day, kind of thing, just to give your mind a rest, to kind of switch off for 2 hours or whatever. That's okay. We all need something to to help us process our day sometimes, or help us deal with our day stress and everything that we've had to do, all the shit we've had to do for that day, depending on, your circumstances or whatever. But
that's what I think, we've all got different circumstances a little bit, do you know what I mean? We've all got different jobs.
Yeah.
And I think some people's jobs are a little bit same, what do you call it,
monotonous.
Yeah, that's right,
Yeah.
I'm glad you're better with words than I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot that word completely, so yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're doing the same thing, hour after hour.
It's like Groundhog Day.
Yeah, and if you're doing the same thing every day after day, you're not doing anything different really to remember in a kind of way. But sometimes people got jobs really that are very boring, or some people have got to do difficult jobs out there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And horrible jobs in a funny way, and they get paid well for doing it in a kind of way. Look, to take sewage for instance, I wouldn't want to work with that.
No. But someone's got to do it.
Or the rubbish, for instance, But let's put. I'm trying to sort of make a point about, if you're at a place where you don't want to be, you're anxious in a kind of way, but that you've got to do it to pay your rent, and all this sort of stuff, do you know what I mean? And people can't wait until 5 o'clock, do you know what I mean, whatever. And they're looking at the clock every 5 minutes, do you know what I mean? And they look at it and they think, God, that minute hadn't moved.
Yeah.
That's it, and they wait,
Yeah.
And it's, but when you're enjoying yourself, you don't bother looking at the time, do you know what I mean, really? You don't really want to go to sleep either.
No.
You know what I mean? You're enjoying yourself, or you're into whatever you're doing, do you know what I mean? Whatever it is,
Yeah.
and you're into it so much that you forget that, you know, to go to sleep, or, you know, sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's again down to, you know, what we were talking about last week, happiness and sadness again, you know, like if you're unhappy, time will go slow.
Yeah.
If you're happy, time will go quicker. The happier you are, the quicker it goes.
Well, there's that saying as well, time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't it? Yeah, so.
Yeah, not another old saying.
And not another old saying. Yeah, but it's true. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you know, so.
Making the most of the moment, you know, and like you said, time is only really kind of, you know, really exists really once when you're living, you know, when you're alive, you know.
Exactly, yeah.
So yeah, you know.
I don't think it exists. Well, it might do, you know, that's the funny thing,
But
isn't
it continues to exist after we go, of course, because obviously each and every person is only like a grain of sand in the grand scheme of the whole existence of everyone that's come and gone already in life, if you see what I mean, you know.
Yeah.
So when you're gone, everything's still, you know, the world continues to go on, you know, and hopefully when you do go on, you leave behind good memories for the people that, you know, you leave behind, whether it be, you know, your loved ones or your friends or the people that know you and respect you and love you. Hopefully you leave a good memory behind for those people, you know, as, you know,
Well,
they remember.
Queen died, she told me.
Oh
you know,
yeah,
a few hours ago.
Rest in peace to Her Majesty the Queen.
She died, I don't know what time.
It was reported earlier that Her Majesty the Queen has passed away, so rest in peace to Her Royal, you know, Her Royal Highness, and, you know, condolences to her family and her loved ones, of course, you know.
But they're going to change all the coins now.
They might do.
Well, they have to, of course they will.
Yeah.
They do. They, you know, like as soon as someone else comes in, they've got to change all the coins.
Yeah.
You know, so. But she, you know, she's one of the most famous persons on earth, I think. Do you know what I mean? And she's going to be remembered, isn't she?
Oh, definitely, mate. There's going to be a huge, like, funny enough, this episode is about time in history. And with you just mentioning that encompasses both those aspects. Because something's just happened in real time that me and you are living in, and other people are living in, of course, all around the world that are alive and experiencing this shit. Realise that this has happened, and it's a historical thing.
It is.
A lady, a woman who became a queen at a young age and has been queen for a very long time now.
No, so I've lived 57 years.
That reign has finally come to an end, if you see what I mean. So now there's a new reign beginning of whoever.
That's what I mean. When you told me, I was a little bit.
So that's time and history.
When you told me a few hours back, whatever, I was a little bit surprised, but not surprised because she's old, isn't she?
96. I think it was reported that she was 96. I believe.
She's had a very long life. Let's put it that way, you know.
Apparently, though, what I don't really understand is apparently a BBC reporter had reported it a few hours before anyone else had reported it happened, and apparently they're going to lose their job because of that for some reason. Quite a strange reason. Yeah, I saw this thing online earlier. So I don't know how true it is, but I just thought it was interesting. I need to look into it. But they were saying basically that this person who ever worked for the BBC reported it a few hours earlier before the actual general news and everyone else reported it, and apparently they're going to lose their job because of it. You know. So.
Oh well, I don't know. Like, so I don't really listen to the news anymore. And I don't.
Yeah. Don't really tune in too much.
Well, you don't know what to believe and not, you know, whatever. It's just, you know, again, I feel like it's a waste of my time.
Yeah.
You know, which time's very important to me, very important. Every minute is actually, do you know what I mean? You know, and we were talking last week, you should appreciate every minute. Every minute. Every minute. You know? If you can. Because we know it is hard for some people out there. Right now, there's some people out there right now that are living in places where they don't know if they're going to make it through the night. Or some real shit. They might be living somewhere where there's bloody people, militants and shit. And people looking to come and take their children to turn them into child soldiers and shit. And you know, fill them up with drugs and give them guns to kill people and shit, like, you know. And there's people out there that right now that might be living somewhere that might be worried that, you know, a bomb might drop on them, you know, Look at like Ukraine, say for example, look at what's going on with the whole Russia-Ukraine thing. There might be people right now in Ukraine who might be worried that there might be a bomb might drop on their house at some point. Yeah, but I think everyone, I know they're at war or whatever, you know, like, so I don't know what's going on out there really, you know, I'm kind of like lived 57 years now, and I've decided to switch it all off.
Exactly, I think that's the best thing.
You know, I think like when you think about it, right, every decade that's gone by in the last thousands of years, wars have been going on all the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's only because we've got the news now they're actually reporting it, and kind of, I don't know, they steer the news in a funny way, you know, and it's like I don't know, I just can't watch it anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I'm bored of it.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, likewise.
You know, I
don't tune in very much. I tune in very minimal. You know, I used to tune in a lot more years before to try and, but then I realised a lot of it is just, like you said earlier, a bit of a mirage and a bit of an illusion. So I only tune in to to a few fragments here and there today, if you see what I mean. You know, the occasional thing. You know.
Well, you know, I know like that you hear like China's at war, whatever, and Russia, whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I love all Russian children, all Chinese children as well. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. All African children. Yeah. That's what I look at, right? I love all children of the world. I love Indian children or whatever. Wherever they come from, I love all children, all babies. You know. And to be honest with you, I love most women all around the world. I think they're so beautiful, like Mexican women, Brazilian women, African women, you know, all slightly different and lovely and beautiful, you know, and I think it makes our world very interesting and beautiful.
Oh, it does, yeah, diversity.
You know, and I hear good things like, you know, I know that, you know, I just don't understand war.
Yeah.
In a funny way, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, you know, what that's all about in a funny way. I let them sort it all out. Whoever's involved with it in a funny way, you know.
Yeah.
You know, but I ain't got no time for war.
Yeah.
You know. You know, at the end of the day, whoever loses, you know, whoever dies in a war, loses the war, and that's it. That's who loses the war. There's no winners in the war.
It's the one. Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's, in a war, people are dying.
Of course, yeah.
You know, don't matter where they got yellow hats on or red hats on, or white hats on, right? Humans are dying.
Yes, sir.
That's what's, you know, like I say, I love every child in the world. It's just the adults I'm not so keen on, you know. Why are they, you know, I know that they're paid to go to war, some people, you know, they get their own living from it, you know. You know, I just that you know, God set us all out. Basically. You know, it's not my mess.
Yeah.
It's not my mess.
It's not for you to worry about.
You know, like so I used to watch the news, whatever, and I decided to do other things on my time. Do you know what I mean? And not what, you know, I find it's a bit of a waste of time.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah. Yeah. And you don't want to waste your time, you know.
No, like I say, time's important. You know, not here for long.
Yeah.
And I haven't got much longer left. You know, when I was younger, I used to think, right, my future, what's it going to be like cars, flying cars about and all this sort of stuff, you know, I was thinking. But no, the future is getting old, going to the toilet more, walking up the shop, you know, trying to get some milk, you know, it's going to be the same. You know, struggling to be happy in life, you know, every day after day, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the future is that I'm not going to be here, really. You know, you know, that's the future.
Yeah.
We're not, you know, like, I think the present is the only thing that really does exist.
In a way, yeah.
Right, this is the future right now, yeah?
Yeah.
It's the oldest you've ever been and everyone's been. The moon, the sun, the earth. And like I say, tomorrow it's going to be a bit older, everything's going to be a bit day into the future. That's the future, you know? And I don't think things are going to change much. You know, water's not going to change tomorrow, do you know what I mean? The only thing that could change is people's behaviour, I think. Alright, that's the scary thing, because like I say, when things start going up in price, which they are here, and the poor are getting more unhappier, because they're struggling to get food or whatever, you know, it's getting more tighter. Every month that goes by, it's like you know, it's just getting harder. People get unhappy, you see. and that can cause trouble. Like, I know that in history, there's been like riots and all sorts of stuff. You know what I mean? And that it can really turn really nasty. I'm telling you.
Oh, of course.
Humans are strange things, and
yeah,
it's a shame that we can't get on.
I think we can, but only to a degree. I think most people want to. Most people want to be able to get along. But there's always a few. There's always a few out there that don't want to get along. That aren't willing to. Not willing to unify and come together to for a better purpose and a better life, and to create change within our communities and our environments, so that we can all live safely and happily, and our children can have a good upbringing and a safe upbringing, and it can be a good education and good healthcare system and good etc. Career prospects when they leave school and etc. There's lots of things that we as the people should be able, should be coming together to try and sort out, But a lot, like you said, a lot of people are so caught up in their own lives, mate. Like we were talking about earlier, so many people are caught up in their own lives that they're consumed by what's going on in their own life as it is. They can't really kind of like fathom anything else that's going on outside of that, if you see what I mean, and even if they do. Want to try and do something, or want to try and help do something. Sometimes they don't even know where to start, or they just, or they think it's beyond them, if you see what I mean, So yeah, human beings, like you said, we're funny creatures, because generally most of the time we can get along, but there'll always be the few out of the majority that that will cause, chaos, So.
Talking about history again, like with the English language is quite a new language, really. Did you know that?
Of course, yeah.
It's only like, well, I think they just started. It's about 700 years old.
Yeah.
And then they started getting a bit more serious with it, in the 15th century, whatever, and it got more complicated.
Yeah.
And then people moved to America.
Yeah.
That's why people speak English there, or whatever, in Canada and Australia, and it evolved.
Yeah.
It's quite, like when they writ the English language, a lot of people were involved with it. Just like for instance, we were talking about Windows. A lot of people working on that.
Oh yeah.
And making that software better than it already is.
Yeah.
They're probably working on software today to make it even better than it was.
Yeah.
But you had a number of people back then writing an English dictionary, basically.
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why it become a very serious sort of language, because there's a lot of work put into it.
Yeah.
In a kind of way,
But the original alphabet as well was 22 letters.
Yeah, and they probably
added a couple more. And they added a couple of more, now it's 26.
Yeah, and vowels were introduced in the 15th century, I think.
Okay.
The vowel law.
Yeah.
Something,
A, E, I, O, U.
Yeah, and I think I can't remember, King Henry brought that in, the vowel law or something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the right date.
Yeah.
But as I say, even like words were invented.
Yeah.
The English language is a book that belongs to England, basically, in a kind of way, Not everyone can speak it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or understand it.
Yeah.
But it is one of the most complicated languages in the world, like I said, because it's so many people have worked on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And may put laws into it, basically, what words go into the book and what don't. Yeah,
decided, yeah. But every year as well, as we know as well, I think every year they add a certain amount of new words to the dictionary, don't they? So it does increase in size every year.
Yeah, cool.